Today we're breaking down the Manchester derby in detail. Let's get into it. United started the game brightly, and after just 4 passes, Garnacho won a dangerous free kick near the opponent's penalty area. Naturally, Bruno Fernandes stepped up to take it. He's taken this kind of set piece many times before. The plan was to completely block the goalkeeper's view and shoot toward the keeper's corner, which Bruno did, but Marmoush managed to block the shot. Though I think Ederson might not have reacted in time to such a powerful strike. Manchester City played with the ball using a back 3. In addition to the 2 center backs, one of the midfielders, usually Bernardo Silva, would drop deeper. City's fullbacks were responsible for maintaining the width. In midfield, there was a triangle, and up front, Marmoush and Foden acted as forwards. Foden often drifted to the right and could even be found on the flank. Marmoush played in a more vertical style, but the team rarely looked to make deep passes to him. As for City's pressing, they pressed with a front 3, a smart decision as it neutralized Manchester United's numerical advantage in the build-up phase. Here's an example of that pressing. De Bruyne cuts off the passing lane to the left flank. Marmoush applies pressure to the right center-back. Gundogan also often pushed higher to prevent Casemiro from getting involved in United's build-up. But you might have already noticed the huge amount of space available to United's right wing back Dalot. That was a persistent issue in the match. Young left-back O'Reilly didn't play high enough and couldn't close down on the flank, though there are reasons for this, which we'll discuss later. Here's another example of City's front 3 and Gundogan pushing up to create equality in midfield and make it hard for the opposition to play out. During the build-up, United positioned themselves in a 5-2-2-2 formation, with the goalkeeper forming a back 3 with the center-backs. The wing-backs took up high and wide positions. Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes actively looked for space between the lines behind City's pressing block, while up front, Rasmus Højlund was ready to battle in the air and flick it on to Garnacho, who could attack the depth with his pace, just like we saw in the opening seconds of the match. Here's United's setup in a positional attack. I want to highlight how much space Dalot had on the wing. This happened because Bruno Fernandes often operated in the right half space between the lines, putting O'Reilly in a constant dilemma between 2 players. He always chose to mark Bruno, the right decision in his situation, but that meant Dalot often received the ball in loads of space, allowing United to attack quickly and vertically. Here's another example of City's press and the tough situation for O'Reilly. He's caught between 2 players and ends up trying to cover Bruno. United then switches the play, and now the left wing-back is completely free because City's backline compacted to one side to compensate for space. Foden held a high position to maintain the team structure, leaving a huge gap on City's left flank. The Dalot situation repeated many times. Now about Bruno Fernandes. He made excellent movements off the ball. In this episode, he moves from one flank to the other, gets behind the pressing block, and receives the ball. You can see O'Reilly signaling, but there's no one to close down Bruno. City lacked compactness in midfield, big gaps between the pressing line and the defenders. O'Reilly started the phase marking Bruno, but to follow him into another zone and open up even more space for Dalot would have been suicidal. In defense, United played a 5-2-3 formation, while City were just circulating the ball. Sometimes they tried to find players between the lines, but of course it led to nothing. It's hard to do anything when you're always receiving the ball surrounded by 4 or more players. Most of the time, the ball just went backward. In this moment, De Bruyne tried to pass him behind, but it was clearly not going to work. It would either be intercepted by a tall defender or swept up by the goalkeeper. City also tried to break down United's defense through individual efforts, but often lost the ball and got countered. Still, nothing came from that either. In the second half, nothing changed. United kept attacking down O'Reilly's flank, where he was constantly distracted by Bruno Fernandes, allowing Dalot to calmly receive the ball. City finally attempted a vertical attack in the second half. Also, look at the player dynamics during City's counterattack. United quickly dropped back and covered the open spaces, while City's players were not aggressively pushing forward. Honestly, even their transition from attack to defense was slow, and United could exploit that. In the second half, Guardiola finally brought on a true winger, Doku, who mostly operated in the half space. He got isolated twice and made use of those chances, even earning a yellow card for a United player. Even in this situation, it felt like City completely ignored the wide players and kept attacking only through the middle. And the stats back that up. 70% of their attacks were through the center, creating almost nothing. To sum up the match, Manchester United played much better, had more chances to score, were tactically sound, and didn't allow City to create danger near their goal. City were just awful. They kept banging their heads against a wall in midfield, endlessly circulating the ball. Only individual brilliance got them to a shooting position, and almost all shots came from outside the box. Man of the match? For me, it's definitely Bruno Fernandes. He delivered quality passes and moved smartly all over the pitch. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let us know in the comments if you enjoyed the match and who you think deserves man of the match.